Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagradav, thy masters. Let's talk about an interesting topic this morning. People often ask, is it true that we create our own universe? I'm not into philosophy. I'm into just get out of here. Do your work. I told you, the ultimate that you understand with your life is that you go back up with less than you came down with. Less what? You know what. All that junk in there, all those issues, all the stuff. You go back up with less than you came down with. Thinking's good, it's interesting, but it's not going to get you there. It's all about letting go of yourself. But let's talk for a little bit. So when people ask me, and they do, is it true that teachers teach that? And it's wonderful. All the teachings are wonderful. I love them all. They teach that you create your own universe. And what they mean by that, because they go one step further, which means go ahead and create your own universe. Just decide what you want, decide what you like, meditate on it, concentrate on it, be positive about it, and you will attract your own universe to you. Okay? So I approach that many different ways. One, I'll tell you one way you create your own universe. You really do. Okay? And psychology teaches you that, but you really don't want to listen. What do you mean? If you were empty, if it was empty mind, if we were talking about empty mind, doesn't mean you're stupid. It has tremendous capabilities. Like a computer that can do anything, but it's just not doing anything right now. That's what empty mind means. If it were empty mind, then what would happen is, there's a world out there. Let's stop for a moment with that. What does that mean? I can't help myself. I like we're talking about science. And I'm going to talk about psychology, but now we're talking about physics. Is there a world out there? Well, the physicists very early found out there were these things called molecules. There's a world out there, but it's not the way you see it. If you had a microscope and you looked at it, it wouldn't look like this. But isn't it really that? It really is molecules. You just don't have senses that are sensitive enough to see that. Einstein said that the greatest impediment to knowledge are your senses. Because they lie to you. It says, there's a beautiful woman over there. No, it's not. It's a bunch of atoms. It's just a bunch of molecules bound together. I would ask you, I majored in business, all right? I didn't do science courses, but I have a periodic table, beautiful. Someone gave it to me, a gift. Beautiful periodic table sitting in my office. And of course, those are the elements that make up the entire universe. As far as we know, the entire universe is made up of those 103, whatever it is, natural, I don't know, 98 natural and 103 total. Who knows? Who cares? But it's a very small number. There's a whole bunch of each one. Which one of those do you like? When you look at a periodic table, what turns you on? Show me male and female. I'm waiting. Where on that periodic table is male and female? Uh-oh. And then you sit there and say, well, those are the atoms. They consider those the basic elements, the building blocks of creation. Then they found out, well, they're not. They're made of things. Just like your body is made of molecules, which are made of atoms, which are made of electrons and protons. Oh, there's only three things? We used to think that. We went a little further. We'll get there in a minute. But just stop for a moment. You mean what I'm looking at is only three things? But my eyes average them out? We know that to be the truth. Russian scientists know it, the Japanese, Chinese, American, everybody knows that that's the truth. That you're not really looking at what you're looking at. You're looking at a tremendous amount of electrons, neutrons, and protons holding themselves together. You don't have to do a single thing. All right, can I just take a breath here? Do you understand the meaning of what we just said? It means, I don't know whether you create your own universe, but it ain't what you think it is in any way, shape, or form, is it? No matter what you think it is. Well, here, which of those atoms are Republican and which are Democratic? Right? And I don't talk about atoms anymore because, 103 of those stupid, that's too many numbers for me. Electrons, neutrons, and protons. You were taught that, weren't you? Okay? We're going to find out it's not true. But 3 things in the universe. I'm going to repeat it. Electrons, neutrons, and protons. In other words, every single thing you ever looked at, every single thing you ever heard, every single thing, anywhere, everything is just bound together, electron, neutron, and protons. And who bound them together? Well, I know I didn't. I know you didn't. I know Dr. Livingston didn't. I know Einstein didn't. I know Niels Bohr didn't. Okay? Well, they kind of made something very interesting, didn't they? Because that's all it really is, electrons and protons. How does it look like her? Very good question, right? So if I ask you, did you create your universe? That's a big ego that I made those things bond together to be like that. Can we talk like that? Well, it's fun to have the truth. But then they found out that they're not electrons or protons. Those are not the basic elements. That neutrons and protons can be broken down and split apart. And they are accumulation of other subatomic particles put together, quarks, leptons, and bosons. That's quantum physics. And they can, in these super colliders, they can aim billions of protons at each other and from miles away and accelerate them to speed that when they hit, they break apart. And they have sensors, phenomenal, bigger than entire buildings, right? That can pick them up. And they only stay apart for fractions of a second. And boom, they pull themselves back together. Because their natural state, the forces of the universe that you didn't make, pull them back together, all right? Then that's what's really there, are these subatomic particles, quarks, leptons, and bosons. And so, wow. And what are those? Well, there was a big argument some time ago. It still probably is going on in physics about whether light is a particle or a wave. Light seems to be a wave. It's just a continuous wave. But when they study it, it seems to be photons. It seems to be particles. It behaves as both a wave and a particle. Well, that's really amazing. They do double slit experiments and all kinds of stuff, right? And showed that it can behave as a wave and it can see it as a particle. Then they found out, and there's real quantum physics, that it's not just light that's that way, and just the photons. Everything is that. Everything. There are no atoms. There are no neutron protons, right? Electrons are an exception because they are elemental. But there are no neutron protons. There are just wavelets in a quantum field. Just like if you drop a leaf into a totally still lake, what happens? It makes vibrations. That is what this universe is made of. So when you say you create your universe, I'm not going to argue with anybody, and everybody can think any way they want, but that means you're down there doing that stuff. That's really interesting, how you got down there and created the vibrations of the quantum field, which then collide together, which then put themselves together to make quarks, leptons, and bosons, put them together to make electrons, neutrons, and protons. Did you know that 2 up quarks and a down quark make a proton? And 2 down quarks and an up quark make a neutron? I mean, this is like, wow. And they are just vibrations hitting each other. And because they hit each other, have certain properties, they bind together. 2 up quarks and a down quark make a proton. So is there a proton or are there only quarks? That's like asking you, which is real? Ice, water, or steam? Which one of those are H2O molecules? They're all. Water is H2O, ice is H2O, steam is H2O. Well, then they're exactly the same. That's why when you melt ice, it becomes water. When you put more heat into water, it becomes vapor. They're the same thing. Why don't you give them different words? Right? But they don't. Physicists call them H2O, okay? And then it's not H2O. What's that? Hydrogen and oxygen atoms. No, there are no atoms. So really what it is There's quarks left on bosons, but no, it's really the vibrations in the quantum field. I once read an article on the web years and years ago, but had a big impression on me, that was put out by NASA. And it said one word that I only heard in my entire life used a certain way, and here is using it in this very scientific meaning. It said, the quantum field is omnipresent throughout the universe. Every star, every galaxy, no matter where you go in the entire universe, every single thing is the quantum field vibrating. That's all there is. Okay? Wow. I only heard the word omnipresent ever used before to describe God. How about you? Omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. So now you're getting down to a very interesting level. But I'm going to keep coming back. And which part of it are you creating? Okay? All right. So now let's come back up. I started with psychology. Now we have a foundation down there. There is not empty mind. I mean, great beings achieve empty mind. They can come back, but they achieve empty mind. If you have empty mind, then you see what's out there. This, it comes in, and your consciousness experiences what we call reality. Now, we just told you reality is really vibrations in a quantum field. And I don't know, you can interpret the way you want, but there was this great master, Sri Ramakrishna. These guys are really far gone. Don't think you meditate and you do mantras. Just forget it. I mean, these beings are very rare, okay? He used to see light. What do you mean? Well, see light. No. That's all he saw was light. Blinding light, all right? He was invited, he was very famous in India, they respect their saints. He was invited to a dinner from the prime minister, and his disciples went with him. And he started being weird because he was very weird. All right? And he's just dancing and drooling at the dinner table and saying God's name and crying. When he do that, every hair in his body would stand on end. These are not normal people. All right? And his disciples came to him later and said, Master, don't you get embarrassed when you behave weird? And he was very sincere with his disciples. He was like a little child, and he would talk to them so honestly. And he said, no. He said, you know how you have aberrations? Sometimes you're looking out and you see a ghost-like figure, something that comes in and it goes away. That's how I see your world. All I see is blinding light. And every once in a while, what you say is a building or a person fades, gently fades in and fades away as quick as it comes. All right? Was he looking at the quantum field? I don't want to talk. There, he created his universe. At least he saw the real one. Absolutely phenomenal. So fine, yes, there is a world out there. Which level do you want to look at it? Ice, water, or steam? People, molecule, your body. Everybody's got nice bodies. They're all different, but they're nice. There's somewhere around 35 trillion living cells that make up your body. Did you know that? They don't know the numbers 32 or 35. Give me a break. All right? 35 trillion cells interacting together, talking to each other, sending messages to each other, healing. That's what's making up your body. All right? So is that what your body's made of really? Think for a moment, that's what's going on. All right? And then you come back and you realize, well, what are those cells made of? Molecules, molecular structures. You go study medicine. It's chemistry, study molecules. Well, I guess that's what's out there. If you look past the limit of your senses, you see what's out there. Keep coming back to your created universe, right? Did you create all the cells in your body? You keep them talking to each other, make sure, hey, wake up, keep your heart beating. This concept of the size of the eye is unbelievable. You did not make your cells, nor did your mother or your father. We talked about that. You want to get back to reality? A single cell, polypurine, whatever it's called, right? A single cell knows how to make your entire body, period. Nobody taught it. Nobody helped it. It's just a cell starts dividing. Well, that's neat, all right? Making this, dividing. You say, oh yeah, but the mother has to have milk, and has to have food. It doesn't How does it know what to do with food? Here, plop, here's some food. It knows how to take pizza, Twinkies, Coca-Cola, break them down into the molecular structures and put them back together into heart cells, lung cells, nerve cells. Pay attention to what you know. You want to use your mind? You want to sit there and say, I create my universe? Which part of that did you create? Let's be honest. You can find out what's all said and done. I'm not saying that there aren't powers that can control things. We're going to talk more about that. But I'm just asking you to wake up and realize, did you create the universe? It's really there. Okay? We study it and you're down to whatever level you want to look at. But I'll show you a place that you do create your universe. And that is with your mind, but not the mind I'm talking about, not the intellectual mind, the abstract mind. What happens is as follows. These atoms out there, these ice, these water, these steam, you follow me? How do you want to talk? What level you want to talk at? I'll say these atoms out there, but you know what I'm really talking about is the vibration of the quantum field. Okay? They're out there. They come in. Why? Because somehow that little cell made nerves cells and made eyeball cells, and didn't it? A single cell made all that. Oh, here's my baby. It is not. You did not make that baby, did you? Make me an eyeball. I'm waiting. It just happens. It's a happening place. That was phenomenal what's out there. And so basically, you look out there and your receptors average out. They average it out. And then they see it as what they average out. So Einstein called that the first lie, right? That the senses don't tell you the truth. But that's okay, all right? Now let it come in. We'll be very open. We'll let it come in. It comes in, and what happens? Well, if nobody's in there experiencing it, it's of no meaning. Stop. It's spiritual on you now. The world's out there. The eyeballs pick it up. A camera doesn't know what it took a picture of. No one knows, except that there's consciousness behind the camera that looks at the picture. Otherwise, the picture has no meaning. What gives meaning to everything is consciousness. If you're not aware of it, it doesn't exist. So if you're not aware at all, now create your universe. You're not aware. It doesn't matter. Awareness is the beginning. You are the aware being that's in there receiving the input of all your senses. Fine. Okay, good. I'm experiencing what I call reality. Whether you create it or not, we'll keep coming back. But the net result is, I've just showed you, it's out there. Okay? And it comes in. All right, fine. What do you have a problem with? Now we'll talk spiritual. If that's what's going on, the electron, neutron, and proton are kind of dancing around out there, putting themselves together and making babies and making cells and making building. Oh my God, far out. All right, there they are dancing around. They come in and you experience them and you're in ecstasy. You're just like, wow, this is a nice experience. It's beautiful. There's no judging. How would you judge? How do you judge the atoms? Where's beauty and ugly? Where's nice and mean? No, it's just things moving through time and space. And they're coming in through your senses, and then you experience them. That's what it means to be with God. That's what it means to be in the garden. It says everything's just beautiful. It's neither beautiful nor ugly. It just is. And every experience is meaningful. Do you know if you reach that state, I usually start from the bottom, and I start from the top, right? If you reach that state, every single experience you have, everything that comes in your senses would send you into ecstasy. Every single thing. Darkness, oh my God, it's beautiful. Light is beautiful. A harmonious song, oh my God. Discord, oh my God. If it came in and touched you, why? Because it causes a vibration in your soul, in your being. Have you ever had an experience that was so beautiful that you said, it touched me to the depth of my being? Huh? Ever been touched to the depth of your being? I felt like I was with God. You were. It made it in. It made it all the way back there, and it touched the depth of your being. What's the depth of your being? Consciousness, awareness of being. But is that what happens? No. Now let's go there real quick. Right? No, that doesn't happen. How often you had an experience that you just said, turn to death, I just melted. I melted into your arms. I melted into the sunset. The music took me so far away. I didn't know it could come back. I just melt. Wow, that's really nice. 5 times in your life. It ain't an everyday experience, is it? Okay? Believe me, it was meant to be. That's who you are. That which is experiencing creation. Okay? We'll get it out of the bag right away. What did create the heavens and earth? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. What is a word? A vibration. That's where it started. It started with the primal vibration. The moment that field of consciousness manifested as a vibration, maybe they'll never find out. That's where the quantum field comes from. If you ask a quantum physicist, where does the quantum field come from? But they'll say to you, that's philosophy. I have no idea. Doesn't matter. I just want to know how it built the world. Well, I like you for showing me how it built the world, because it lets me see how close to God that is. Look how close you are. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And then God said, let there be light. If you study it, you understand that photon is the most primary experience, creation, that wavelet of light. It really is. In the beginning was the Word, was the vibration, and then let there be light, etc. And they created the firmament. In other words, they started combining themselves together to make atoms. It's really not so far gone how they knew to say stuff like that. I won't talk about it. Okay? But in any event, that's what's going on. So now God creates the heavens and earth. Okay? Why? To experience himself. Play music, but don't listen to it. Paint, but don't look at what you painted. What for? What's the meaning? You express yourself so you can experience yourself. You make music so you can listen to it and you can feel yourself. You can see yourself. That is what's going on. That's the deepest understanding of spirituality. There's just one force in creation, the divine consciousness everywhere. It vibrated and expressed itself so it could experience its nature, experience itself. And guess who you are? The emissary of that force looking down into creation and experiencing creation. You're kind of special. There's so much to talk about. I can't get it in an hour, right? Do you understand that no one that ever lived or ever will live has experienced what you have? Any moment, even in this room, everyone's experiencing something different. Different angles, different light, different thing. And then you're not going to be in the same people in a moment. You are having unique experiences. Your entire life is a sequence of unique experiences that only you had. Wow, you are special. See, you don't have to create your universe. You're experiencing the divine creation, and you are the emissary of that. It's your consciousness that is taking in that moment. And if you miss it, then you're never going to experience. Okay? That's what be here now means. Be here now. Don't be there then, past or future. Experience the experience that is being created in front of you because it's unique. It's special. Okay? All right. So now what happened? Everything is beautiful. If you're in that state, which is where the great masters, the true masters are, all right, is every vibration that comes in touches the depth of your being. Does that mean it's nice? It's way beyond nice. Ramakrishna, again, they took him to a park once, all right, to have a picnic, and he started crying. His emotion was totally open. He just started crying, and not just crying. Oh, ouch, oh. He's just sitting there. Ow, ow. He's just in pain. And they said to him, Master, what's happening? I feel the experience of people walking on the grass, that the grass is bending, and it's experiencing that. I experience that while I'm sitting here. But it's beautiful. Do you understand that? It's not wrong. It's not bad. It's just an experience. I don't know what to tell you. If you're not judging, if you're not fighting it, if you're not liking and not liking, what you're doing is experiencing. Like, let's say you love somebody. Do you really want to write down how they should hug you and when they should kiss you and what should happen and every single thing? Or do you want to experience something raw, open, beautiful? That is what is meant to be. That is Adam and Eve in the garden. It's God experiencing God's creation, darkness, light. That's where duality comes from. That's where the yin and yang concept comes. Everything is everything. All right, fine. So now there we are. But that's not what happens. Now we get to what I always teach you, which I don't like to teach you because I wish it wasn't true. All right, what happens? Somehow there's this fall from the garden. I like to live in that place where every single thing that comes in is just an experience. You hear me? It's just an experience. There's a snake. It's scary. I don't have to pick it up. It's beautiful. It didn't move me. Didn't it move you? All right? Just everything's touching you. There's no right or wrong or good or bad or dark or light. There's just the experience of creation, and you're the consciousness that's experiencing it. That's who you are right now. Well, what happened? What happens is, and I cannot explain other than God's will, who knows, all right? Something came in to you. It came in, and it was experienced as different than everything else. But really, everything's just the quantum field. It's all just the expression of creation. But this thing, call it a snake or whatever you want to, distracted your consciousness enough to where you focused on it. You do that, don't you? Have you noticed that not everything's the same? That if you're walking a field out there and there's grass and there's trees and there's clouds and there's sun and then there's this rustling in the grass, guess what you're paying attention to? Why are you not paying attention to the grass, to the trees, to the sun? Because that caught your attention, distracted your awareness. They're all the same thing. You have a thing called attention, don't you? Can something catch it? Boom, like a ball. All right, something caught my attention. Something distracted my consciousness. It distracted my awareness. They're all the same word. Your attention, your awareness, your consciousness. You in there, hello? Can you get distracted by something? Can you focus on something more than something else? Have you ever? Have you ever had your consciousness focus more on one thing than another? How about all the time? It doesn't take much to distract your consciousness, does it? You're sitting there talking, and boom, noise comes out. Somebody said, all right? You're talking to somebody really nicely, and they say one thing, and it catches your attention because your mother used to talk to you like that. And all of a sudden, you're not listening to this person anymore. You're listening to your mother and how she used to talk to you. You got distracted. Your consciousness got pulled down into something. All right. So the beginning of all this issue happened because there was initial distraction. Your consciousness is experiencing everything and it's just dancing with the yin and yang. But then something came in through the senses and it distracted the consciousness to where it focused on it. I'm telling you, and if you go deep enough in meditation, these are not things you need to think about. If something distracts your consciousness, you think about it. Well, of course, it distracts my consciousness. No, you think about it after it happens. Don't you? Somehow it stays. Somehow it makes this thing called an impression. He made a strong impression on me, positive or negative. Well, then you're going to be thinking about it after he or she is gone. Why? The atoms aren't doing the same thing anymore. They're busy doing something else. What happened to you? You got lost. That thing, because you focused your consciousness on it, either willfully or because it pulled your consciousness down to it, distracted you, consciousness, and okay, now you want to get yoga? In yoga, we say that there's not consciousness and energy. There's not chit and shakti. Chit is consciousness, shakti is energy. There's chit shakti, all one word, chit shakti. There's not, those of you who know something about physics, there's not magnetism and electricity. There's electromagnetism. They found out they're the same force. One comes in from one angle, it's electricity, comes from a different angle, it's magnetism. But it's the same force creating both. You just look at it from different angles. So we don't say, we use the word electromagnetism. Well, they use the word chit-shakti. So the energy that created the universe and the consciousness that's experiencing it are the same thing. God is one. There's one force in the universe. But no, there's consciousness looking at the waves. No, consciousness made the waves and is looking at itself. Chit-chak. These are teachings of the great masters, the enlightened ones. Come back and tell you, it's all light. It's all the same force. It's consciousness dancing with consciousness. But then when that awareness gets pulled down to a single point, when you get distracted, not only does consciousness go there, but energy goes there because they're the same thing. And that's why it creates force gets pulled down, and that force stopped the experience, right? It's coming in through your senses. It's picking it up. It's sending it back to your consciousness. But your consciousness came down to meet it instead of letting it come up and having it be, it touched me to the depth of my being. It didn't touch me to the depth of my being. I came down to it. Don't you when you focus on something in your mind? Your awareness comes down to it. And because Chit Shakti focuses there, it's power. And it holds it there. And that's the impression. That's what makes an impression. That the force of consciousness, of conscious energy, focuses on a single object that came in. Therefore, that object doesn't make it all the way through. I can say, you concentrated on it in that beautiful, no, not really, because it got stuck. Does it get stuck? Does anything get stuck in there ever? And that's passive, meaning conscious. I don't know whether you understand this stuff, but I'm going to teach it because it's the truth. You understand it? You go deep enough in meditation, you see it happening. You're totally clear, and then you have one thought, and you have that first thought when you come out of meditation, it's going to be there when you're done meditating. It's the power of consciousness, Chit Shakti, can hold, it does. If it comes down and focuses instead of letting it come all the way through. It was meant to come through. You're meant to experience life here and now. It's wow. It's unbelievable. I get to meet him, but I don't want him to leave. Well, then you're in trouble. And so what happens, you focus on it, it makes an impression on this thing called mind. Mind normally is just the vehicle through which thoughts can be created. You can experience things. But now you focused on it, it got stuck in there. And that is, like Freud didn't go at that level, but that's suppression. That alone is an act of suppression. Your resistance and suppression. You're holding that object, that snake, more in your mind than everything else around it. Therefore, it made an impression. Now what? Now, if I see a rope, I freak. Now, if I hear a rattle, I don't want to have children. They have rattles. That is what's going on. Stuff got stuck, didn't it? And you are different than him, and you're different than you were yesterday because you have new experiences, and they all come in, and different ones get stuck, and other ones make it right through. There are very few of you that spend your time thinking about the white lines on the road that you drove past last year, or the clouds that went by. I once taught that something like probably 99% of everything you ever experienced made it right through. That's how high you are. You're practically enlightened. You're all but 0.1%. I'm telling you, there's clouds, there's things, there's air, there's boards. Here, look at the knots on the wall. You saw them when you walked in. You just didn't pay attention to them and didn't get distracted by them. They're not going to have any effect on your life, all right? But I always tell the story. But if you're one of the people that paint the white lines or yellow lines in the road, and, they sit in a little cart behind, you ever see them? A little cart behind, they pull the thing to make the dashed lines. And sometimes they dribble. Ever notice? Well, that guy got fired because he had too many dribbles. You're only allowed to have a certain number of dribbles. That guy pays attention to every single white line he ever sees for the rest of his life because it made an impression. You don't. See what I'm saying? I'm teaching you something very deep. So you have built up these impressions over the course of every moment of your life. Most of them made it through. Look at all the colors in the room. So just look at them. You saw them, you've seen them. They don't leave an impression that says she's wearing something like my sister wore and it made me cry. You understand that? Otherwise, it comes in and it passes through. That's what it's supposed to do. You can bring it back. There's memory. All right? I'm not talking about memory. I'm talking about you came down and met it and stopped it from passing through. and now it's in there. Okay, so what? So what? Are you kidding me? How much do you have in there? How many experiences didn't make it through? Every single day you have experiences that don't make it through. Somebody beeps at you. You look at your cell phone and the light, and bam. You think about that for a while. You idiot. I can remember early in my days, probably still would happen. I don't want to make myself look good, all right? That I would be there, many years ago, I'd be there, somebody would beep, right? And when they went ahead, and if the next light we would have pulled next to each other, I wouldn't. It made an impression. Do you understand that? It got stuck. And now you have to live with that. Beep. That last guy that got in the elevator, it was already full. What's the matter with him? You're talking about it, tell everybody when you go to the office. What are you talking about? It's just an experience you're having. No. I stopped it. If you never learn anything that I ever taught you, you do see it's truth in it, all right? You do stop some experience and not others. And the ones you stop stay in there. They're still in there, depending on the level of intensity distracted you with and how long you hold on to them, okay? Just let somebody say one word to you that you didn't like. Okay, you can sit there and say, I don't know, I probably misunderstood. There, it's gone. Or, I don't let them talk to me like that. They can't talk to me like that. No, if they talk to me, they can walk all over me. I've had other people, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because you're going to keep that impression, okay? You go out on a date where everyone's absolutely perfect, but then their accent and the way they said something reminded you of what that person said when they said that to you when you were 5. Like a Freudian? Isn't that what we're talking about? You have built inside your mind, OMG. Are you kidding me? And then everything you held on to, you become sensitive about that when the next thing happens. So do you create your own universe? You sure do, because you can't see what's going on out there. That's what I wanted to get. What comes in, which you see is pure, is a bunch of quantum vibrations, a bunch of atoms. They're good and they're bad and they're right and they're wrong, they're better and they're worse. Hear me? But they come in through your senses. Well, fine, that's why you have senses, so that God can experience his creation. It doesn't quite make it back to him. There's a little roadblock in the way, all right? It has to first pass through the filter of what you built in your mind, which is unique from everybody else. Nobody thinks the same as you. We are all very different. How different? Everyone's had different experiences every single moment of their lives. And psychology says man is the sum of his learned experiences. They do say that. What did I just teach you? No, your psyche, that which you built in your mind and in your heart. Now you said, heart, why heart? They're in cahoots with each other. If something happened in your heart hurts, your mind talks about it. If something happened in your mind doesn't like it, your heart hurts. It's chakras, energy field. Energy passes from one to the other. And so that is your psyche. So psychology is exactly right. A person is the sum of their learned experiences. Therefore, when you say to somebody, I can't believe you said it, I would never have said that. Of course you wouldn't have said it. You didn't have the same experiences. There's no way in the world what's coming out of your mouth is going to be the same as somebody else's. Because that stuff you got in there has passed through your filter first. This is deep spirituality, as I laid the groundwork with the physics, all right? So are you creating a universe? Well, you're sure creating the one you're experiencing, I'll tell you that right now. Because you're doing it from inside. There's not a single thing that comes, other than those really deep ones, very rare, that touch the depth of your being. It means it made it through you. Otherwise, well, I don't know. Is it too early to kiss on the first date? I don't want to think it's wrong. Well, what are you doing? I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not telling you how to live. But I'm just telling you that that's not a whole lot of fun, right? Should I call? I want to call. I want to call. But I called him yesterday. I don't want him to think that I'm forward. You can't live your life. Can you? You can't enjoy living your life because you have all this stuff in there. And most of what you have in there is what distracted your consciousness because it wasn't pleasant. You couldn't handle it. You said, I can't handle that. Well, then it's still in there. Just say that. I couldn't handle what he said to me. No, I know it's 5th grade. I just couldn't handle what they did. Okay, then it's still in there. Why? Because you couldn't let it go. That's what it means, I can't handle it. I can't handle what you said. I cannot handle what you said to me. What does that mean? I'm going to think about that for a long time, and you're not going to come near me ever again. And I'm going to tell everybody what you said, right or wrong. It got stuck in there. Why? Because you couldn't handle it. What does that mean, I can't handle it? Well, I want to do the opposite. Somebody says something. Oh, well, it's okay. They didn't mean it. I can handle that. Well, then it goes through. Do you get it? Do you see the difference? I can't handle it means I'm going to resist it. I'm going to play with you for a minute, right? What you're really saying is, because I didn't like it, I'm going to keep it. There's psychology for you. Is that not Freud? The things you really, really, really didn't like in your childhood, your formative years, and different things, right? You decided to keep those because I don't like them. And I want them to be there for the rest of my life. I will never forgive what you said. I'll never forget how you hurt me. You're going to suffer the rest of your life because it's going to bother me that much. You'll know you caused me to suffer. Wow, congratulations. I'm glad you screwed yourself up. No, he did by what he said. The words are just vibrations in the quantum field passing through, and if they didn't pass through, you stopped them. Okay? I told you this beautiful saint, Mayuk Shakti, there's a picture down in the corner, used to come visit us. She's a very saintly person, very quiet. One day she leaned over me, right? And the saints don't talk personal. She leaned over me and she said, Mickey, I said, yes, mother. She said, don't you just love when they yell at you? There's so much energy. That's what she felt. She was able to take it and just chat. It wasn't personal. Just, boy, when people yell, there's a lot of energy in there. Wow, man, ecstasy. Wow. That's what it means to not resist. That's what it means to let it pass through. That's what it means I can handle it. All they say the same thing, don't they? That's what it means to be open, to have an open heart. You didn't close it around what happened. If you close your heart, you don't get to feel love. I can't believe what you said to me. I'm perfectly not going to feel love because you said that to me. I don't understand. Why are you doing that? This is why we're talking the way we are. Again, I'm going to go back. Do you create your universe? Yeah, sure do. You create the experience you're having. You're not really creating it, but you're making it be what you got inside. By the time it comes in, that's what you're experiencing. So the problem is not the world. The problem is not the world. Therefore, the solution is not the world. The problem is what you have done in your mind that is completely personal, made up of your experiences, and you built this thing called an ego, a self-concept. I like this. I don't like that. I've always liked this. I never liked that. I don't want that to happen. I can't believe you said that. Every one of those was I, mean, mine, my car, my thing, I. That's because you built this thing in your mind that's about you. The universe is not about you. There's hundreds of billions of stars and galaxies and quantum fields, and none of it's about you. The only part that's about you is the part that got blocked, that you didn't let go of. Okay? And you built this thing. You can go anywhere with this. You understand that? What's evil? Is there evil? There are people that purposely do every single thing they can to hurt anyone they can. That's a nice thing to talk about. Is that true or not? There are people. Well, how different are they? Well, they had experiences that weren't so good and got stuck. And they don't know how to deal with it. And so they express it. When the energy gets stuck inside, why did it get stuck? Because you resisted it. I often ask you, do you ever push away what came in? Do you ever not want to experience something that happened and you keep pushing it away? I don't want to think about that. Yes or no? Okay? What happens to that energy? It's blocked. It's blocked down there. That's what psychology is all about. All that blocked energy. All right? Well, what happens to it? Well, you suppress it, and then it's like a virus. It just grows down there. And, oh my God, it can make a real mess, doesn't it? Ever try to let go of something you don't want to let go of? Something happened in your childhood or at some point in a relationship that really hurts you really badly. You don't ever like to think about it. You just change the subject to it. Yes or no? What does it feel like if it doesn't change the subject and somebody keeps talking about it and it keeps hitting your stuff? How you doing? You get angry, fear, anxiety, a lot of bad energy. Why? Because you stored it down there and it got suppressed. It didn't do well. you blocked energy. Okay? It didn't see the light of day. Therefore, it became very broken. All right? Fine. You leave it down there, it's broken. I hope you don't do that. Don't ever do that. But what happens if it starts to come up and you can't handle it? I can't handle that. The dark energy is coming up. All right? You express it. What does that mean, express it? You let it out. You release it. Isn't that what express it means? Well, you're just releasing the darkest energy that could possibly exist. I'll use the word I, but you take it the way you want. To me, that's where evil comes from. That's where Hitler came from. I'm a nice Jewish boy. What in the world is wrong with a person? Like, where'd you get there? How'd you get there? You want to kill all of them. I guarantee you, I believe me, they have psychoanalyzed that man till the day's over, right? As to how he looked at things that way that would make him be like that, and then convince others to be like that and spread that energy out, right? It's his childhood. It's this, it's that, past lives. I don't care. But it got blocked. It's all about blockages. Do you understand that? It's all about, otherwise what's in there? Light. That's all that's in there. Is the divine consciousness expressing and experiencing itself and getting ecstatic. There's just love in there. There's beauty in there, but not beauty that you think is beauty. Everything's beautiful. There's just the experience. It's just, oh. You know what one name for God in the Hindu tradition, the yoga tradition? Satchidananda. Eternal conscious ecstasy. That's what is in you. That's who you are. That is the nature of your consciousness. That's what's in there. It's Satchidananda. It's looking down right through all the garbage that you held in there, that you hold in there. And now you need to express yourself or do something or attract yourself what you want, so on. What's liberation? Let go of it. Okay, a minute left. That's all it takes. What is liberation? One, liberation means you're free. Not free to do what you want. There is nothing like that. You're free to experience reality. You're free to be the greatest being that ever walked the face of the earth, Christ. I mean, look at his words. My Father and I are one. And my favorite that he says, and as I sit by the throne of my Father, that's your state of consciousness, where you are, where your consciousness is. So you shall sit by my throne. As I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne, and these things which I do, you should do these and even greater things. Oh, you mean you're a great being? You are a great being, right? What's the problem? You have these blockages, and no one really taught you the proper way to deal with them. They teach you how to behave in a way that other people like you. Why do you care if other people like you? No one dares to say that to you. There's 8.3 billion people on the planet. Go please them all. Especially when I taught you that every one of them had different experiences. Therefore, they're totally different. Now go please them all. No, I'll just pick a few of them and try to please them. It's the same. Do you understand that? What's wrong with you that you can't come down into this beautiful planet with tremendous experience of love and light and come down here and experience people, places, things, challenges, differences? Why can't you just experience life? Why do you care what people think about you? You know how much trouble you have because you care what people think about you? You have to watch what you're wearing and what you said. And if you say something, you have a conversation with somebody, you're thinking afterwards, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, but I forgot I could have said that. It would have been so much more. Anybody? No? Just me? Yeah. Isn't that fun? Isn't it fun being neurotic? No. Then why? You have to look and see, why is it that way? Because you've stored this stuff in there. Your mother told you, don't ever wear your hair like that. Now you either don't wear it like that to keep mommy happy, but you like it another way, or you wear it exactly the opposite of the way she wants you to be a rebel. It's the same thing. The same impression is running your life, whether you're giving into it or rebelling against it. That's determining your entire life. But back to, do you create your own experience? Yeah, you sure do. All right? What is the answer to all this? I teach it all the time, and now you understand deeper. Let go. Let go. Otherwise, it's going to stay in there. How do I let go of all that stuff that's in there? There's so much stuff in there. You don't let it all go at once. Don't worry. The path is much easier than that. I told you, I'm satisfied. If you're driving behind somebody and you don't like the way they're driving, listen to me. They're my teachings. They're driving 15 miles an hour below speed limit. They keep stepping on their brakes. Is it bothering you? Yes. There. No spiritual bypassing. Yes. It's bothering me, all right? What good is it doing to you that it is bothering you? And don't bother the other guy. I know you're talking to him. Come on, buddy. He don't hear you and nothing going on. And you start being wise inside. You live in there. Your conscience has to live in there. That's God coming down. You've got to look through that. Help. All right? And so you sit there and you say, okay, here's one thing. I don't have to resist this. He'll drive that way for a couple blocks. So it happens to me, right? I drive, the next thing you know, he turns, or I'll be in a rush, so I'll pass. I still let him do it, but I'm careful. I pay conscious. On a country road, 2-lane, somebody's driving 10 miles over the speed limit. I got a fast car, so I just pull out, pass him. I feel good. Then I go up to the stop sign a mile down the road, and he pulls right behind me. I notice those things. I'm a very conscious being. You hear me? And you start playing with it. You start noticing, I made a mess of that. Somebody would do that and then go to the office and say, yeah, I was behind this guy. He's driving 10 miles an hour. You couldn't even let it go after it went away. You made a thing. If you go to Germany and drive around 3 years later and a car just like that, you get behind it, I ain't doing this again. You're doing it. You do not have to do it. You can let go. Now that's deep. In other words, the energy came in. It was not comfortable. Fine, it was not comfortable. You weren't getting what you wanted, whatever. Can you let go? Can you see the tendency to resist, to push it away, to not want it, and instead welcome it? That's where I got. It took a lot of time, right? It is welcome to not feel good. Otherwise, I'm going to resist it. And resist it makes it stay, and I don't want it to stay. I'm perfectly happy driving behind the guy at 10 miles above the speed limit and looking at Mickey and saying, how you doing, Mick? And relaxing, 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 and letting go of the tendency to resist. And what happens? It's fun. All of a sudden, it became a fun experience. Go be in a rush and get caught by a train. We have trains around here, all right? And some of them are pretty long, okay? And you're sitting there, all right. You can't cross. Why are you sitting there getting anxious? Count the cars, fine. And then they're sitting there counting your problems. And you can have fun. You can have fun. You can imagine, well, where's the train going? Do whatever you want with your mind, but don't resist the experience. If you don't resist the experience, it'll be fun. When you sit there and start counting, and all of a sudden it's the longest train. Oh my God, I never counted above 50 before. How long is this thing? Get excited. Why not have fun? Everything can be that way. I'm out of time. You can do that with the weather. Oh my God, it looks cloudy. It's going to rain again. What am I going to do? I don't even want to go. Your whole life is screwed up because you do this. As opposed to, I love the rain, but I have to get out and I don't have an umbrella. I'm going to get wet. You get wet when you take a shower. Will you please learn to have fun instead of resisting? That's the whole key. That's called letting go. That's what I mean by letting go. Inside, see the tendency to push the energy away. I guarantee you, if you touch that energy, it's staying in there at one degree or another because you didn't let it pass. Practice letting go and wait to see what happens. They're around me from all over the world. Oh my God, it works. I'm so much happier than I used to be. Of course you are. You're not making yourself miserable. And you have to own all the stuff you touched. Now, stop, but get a little more serious. Now, have a relationship. Somebody does something you wouldn't expect. You said we're going to meet for dinner and you didn't show up. Yeah, I wasn't feeling well and I'm sorry. You're sorry? I sat there and waited. How can you do that to me? No. How about, I understand. It's okay. Whoa. If you understand and it's okay, it doesn't have to stay in there. It doesn't have to ruin your relationship. It doesn't have to build up, counting how many times he or she's done something like that. And now I've had enough. Are you listening to me? Let go. Stop resisting reality. We started with the atoms, right? Go back, tie the whole talk together, right? Life's an amazing experience. Every moment. Open, let it pass through, experience it, love it. In essence, what you're doing is say, give it to God. You don't have to give it to God. Stop keeping it from God. Jai Gurudev.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.